So I've actually been thinking about today since our last class and how through all of our work and all the things that we do and all of this focus on where we're going and healing and successes and failures and progression, we so often leave out just being so kind to ourselves. We get so caught up in work and progress and all of these things that we need to do and get done and achieve that we so often let ourselves fall by the wayside. And in our last class we were talking about getting out of your own way, and sometimes that is just being nice to you. So today might be a little simpler, but let's see what happens when we start from there, from that space of how can I just be really, really nice to myself and just find that gratitude for all the work that I've done. So sitting comfortably, letting the crown of your head be right over your tailbone, sitting up nice and tall, allowing the eyes to softly shut, taking a few deep breaths, and even here seeing if you can find a way to be kind to yourself. Maybe it's being patient with a thought or a feeling and letting it out on an exhale. Bring your palms together in front of you and rub them together so you can feel that warmth through your palms, tips of your fingers, still reaching the crown of the head high. And then when your palms feel warm, place them down somewhere on your body that needs a little healing. And just feel the warmth from your palms. Rubbing your palms together again, feeling that warmth into the crown of the head a little higher, breathing a little deeper. And place your palms down somewhere different, somewhere else. Just whatever's speaking to you. And then vigorously rubbing our palms together one more time. And we have these different magnetic fields around our body that can be measured, and there are three of the most powerful spaces: your heart and your mind, but your hands are even more powerful than those two combined. Place your palms down on that last spot, wherever it might be. And allow your hands to release down, maybe changing the crossing of your legs, evening out the body. Sitting up tall, take a huge inhale in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Notice any thoughts, worries, stresses, ideas that are floating around. Open the mouth, exhale them out. Take a huge inhale in through the nose. Noticing with what you're left, holding the breath at the top. See how it feels to have any of those things, ideas circulating through your nervous system. Open the mouth, let it out. A little further. Take one more inhale in. Hold the breath softly at the top. And know that sometimes the kindest thing we can do to ourselves is to give ourselves a break. So I want you to think about this journey, this time together, as an emotional vacation. Open the mouth, exhale out any of those last little remnants. Taking deep inhales in through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Inhale in for 3, 2, 1. Exhale out, 3, 2, 1. Continuing this simple mantra, 3, 2, 1. See if there are any last remnants of anything that's distracting you. It's keeping you from just being still and kind. There's nowhere you need to be, nothing you need to do, to think, or to be. Inhale the arms out and up. Bring the palms together, exhale them down in between the eyes. May your practice cultivate enlightened thoughts. Inhale, exhale in front of the mouth. May your practice cultivate enlightened speech. Inhale, exhale in front of the heart. May your practice cultivate an enlightened heart. If you'd like, you can change the crossing of your legs one more time. And then maybe give your knees, hips, thighs a little rub. Saying thank you to your legs and their stillness while we're being nice to the rest of our body. And then placing the palms down on your shins or knees. Take an inhale in, shine the heart forward. Fill the belly out, gaze up. Exhale, rolling back, pulling against your shins or knees, sending the center of your back far back behind you. Inhale, rolling forward. Roll the shoulders back. And exhale, pulling against those shins. Keep these inhales and exhales going, maybe still counting that 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Moving with your breath, just exploring the spine, the breath. And then as it feels natural, start to add a little circle to the chest, hips, neck. Still finding those long inhales and long exhales. Maybe even increasing the count to a 4, 5, or 6. If you find a really juicy spot that starts to open up, maybe taking a breath and just breathing into it. Long inhales, long exhales. Nowhere to be, nothing to do, nothing to think, nothing to be. Just your deep breaths, your body, listening to what it has to say. And as you're ready, start to take the motions in the opposite direction, whatever opposite direction means to you right now. There's no wrong way to do this. Going back to our exploration and our trust, knowing that your breath is the greatest teacher you will ever have. See what happens when you let the shoulders be part of it. See what happens when you let your hips be part of it. Still finding your breath Maybe taking the breath longer, maybe taking it faster. Yogis believe that you are only as young as your spine is flexible. So explore that flexibility without judgment, without preamble, just exploring it, seeing where it is. And then as you're ready, start to let the movements become smaller and smaller. Until they're tiny, almost imperceptible. And then allow your spine, your breath to settle back, long, still feeling the little spirals up and down the spine. See if you can feel that nervous system still alive and moving, your breath still alive and moving. If you have your legs crossed, let the right leg be on top of the left. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, take the right hand down, back behind you. Left hand the outside of that right thigh. Maybe gazing out over that right shoulder. With each inhale, pushing down with that whole right palm, getting a little taller. With each exhale, twisting a little deeper. Maybe reaching that right hand behind your back for those right toes, so you can twist a little deeper. Or keeping that right palm down on the earth to feel the spine long and supported. Deep breaths. Take an inhale in, get everything a little higher. Exhale, twist just a little deeper. Inhale in one more time. And exhale, slowly unwind. Grabbing your shins, changing the crossing of your legs. Left foot on top. Inhale the fingers up. Exhale that left hand down, right hand to the outside of that left thigh. Twist, breathe. Really pushing down with that left hand. Let the left shoulder come down away from your ear, reaching the crown of the head a little higher to twist a little deeper. Same, 3, 4 in, 3, 4 out. Maybe reaching that left hand behind your back for those left toes. Pull yourself a little deeper. Deep breaths. Finding that kindness in the exploration. No judgments. Just breath. Take one more inhale in, get everything a little higher. Exhale, twist just a little deeper. Inhale, feeling long. Exhale, slowly unwind. Allow your feet to come out to the sides. If you'd like, you can turn sideways on your mat so that your heels are reaching toward the corners of your mat. Flexing your toes back toward you. Sitting up tall. Place the left hand down on the earth in front of you, fingers pointing toward that right knee. Reach the right arm up. And then up and over your ear. You can keep walking those left fingers as far toward that right knee as you'd like, opening up through the right side of the body, reaching down toward those left toes. Still flexing your toes back toward you. Inhale, reach those right fingers up. And exhale, reach those right fingers back down toward those toes. Inhale the fingers up. And exhale, release a little deeper. Inhale up. And exhale, release. Slowly start to walk the left hand toward the front of the body and then over toward those left toes. And then let your shoulders and chest turn toward the left toe, still flexing the right and left toes back towards you. Inhale, shine the heart up. Try and get the heart a little closer to the toes. Exhale and round down. Inhale, shine, lengthen, pull against those toes. Exhale, round. Inhale up. Shoulders a little closer to your toes, and exhale, release. And staying low, start to walk the hands all the way through center and over to that right side. Reaching down toward the toes, your heart reaching down towards your knee, pulling against whatever you may, flexing the toes back towards you. Inhale, shine the heart, get the belly button a little closer to the thigh. Exhale and release. Inhale, shine, lengthen, pull your toes back towards you. Exhale, release. Inhale up one more time. A little longer. And this time as you exhale, reach that right hand in between the left arm and the right leg. And then inhale those left fingers up toward the sky. Exhale, release them up over your ear, down toward those toes. Inhale, reach the left fingers up, walk the right fingers a little closer toward the left knee. Exhale and release. Inhale up. Exhale up and over. A few breaths. And then inhale, coming all the way up to center. Reach the fingers up. And then exhale straight out in front of you. Feeling long through the spine, keeping those toes flexed. Being kind, patient, and just exploring. Maybe slightly rocking the shoulders and torso from side to side. And then keeping the head heavy, slowly rolling up, one vertebra at a time. Slowly bringing your knees up into your chest. If you'd like, you can Turn back long on your mat. Grabbing the backs of your knees. Your shins come parallel to the earth. You just flex and point your toes slowly, really feeling the point coming all the way from your shin, pointing through all the way to your toes. And then slowly starting with your toes, start to flex and bring them back. And then release your hand, continuing slow point and flex. And the next time you find yourself pointing, maybe straightening the legs as much as you'd like, rolling the shoulders back, reach the heart up, breathe deep. Slowly bring your knees towards your chest, keep those fingers reaching. Take an inhale in. Exhale, float everything out just 2 inches up off the earth. Inhale, coming up, knees to chest. Exhale and float. Inhale, coming up. Exhale and float. Inhale, just the right heel up, flex both toes, reach the fingers toward the right heels. Deep breaths. And slowly switch the legs. Same long inhales and long exhales. Listening to your body, listening to your breath. Right heel up to meet the left. Reach down for the toes, lift the shoulder blades. Take a huge inhale in. And slowly releasing the feet down toward the earth for 8, 7, as you exhale. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring the heels in toward your sit bones, hip distance apart. Push the heels down, lift the hips up. Tuck one shoulder blade and then the other underneath you. Releasing the core. Deep breaths. Coming up to the balls of the feet, slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time. If you'd like to just come into a little half inversion, send your feet up over your head, come into a nice gentle plow. Otherwise, bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees fall out to the side, right hand to your heart, left hand to your diaphragm, Supta Baddha Konasana. The day of kindness, being nice to ourselves. If you've come back for plow, maybe taking the feet out to the side, in a nice wide straddle, noticing how that changes the stretch. Just being kind and gentle, walking the feet together toward your head and maybe back out away. Maybe not going to our most extreme. We're still pretty early in our journey. Being kind and patient. And just releasing a little space. Maybe just a little more space than you had a moment ago. Breathing a little deeper. And then as you're ready, wherever you are, start to pull your knees into your chest and take little rolls up and down your spine until you come all the way up to your feet. Place the hands down, feet hip distance apart, your toes a little closer than your heels. Do a nice, easy forward fold, letting the head be heavy. You can shake the head yes and no. Releasing the torso, transferring the weight a little more toward the balls of the feet. Maybe even bending one knee and then the other. Maybe clasping opposite elbows. Whatever you'd like to really feel that torso and head relaxed. And releasing the fingertips down. Heel toe your feet out to the edges of your mat. Turn your toes out. Send your hips down. Bring your elbows right into your knees. Pulling the hips forward, shine the heart up. Inhale, reach the arms out and up, straighten the legs. Exhale, down through center. Inhale out and up. Exhale, down through center. Inhale out and up. And exhale down. Placing your hands down, bend into the elbows, get your knees right up over your triceps, one toe at a time. Find that one spot down on the earth. Find your way to crow, or if you'd like, take the left hand on the outside of the left toes and right fingers up. And then right fingers on the outside of the right toes, left fingers up. Same deep breaths wherever you are. If you've come up for crow and you'd like to go ahead and just shoot back to chaturanga, feel free to do so. Those of you in the squat, place the hands down, bring the feet back together, step or float back and down, elbows in, shoulders way out. Inhale right back up to plank. Rolling the shoulders back, tucking the pelvis under, reaching the crown of the head long. A few deep breaths, grounding down to the pinky and ring finger, lengthening through the middle finger, index finger, and thumb. Pushing down with that whole palm. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, one forearm at a time, down to the earth. Interlace the fingers, except for the pinky and ring. Roll the shoulders back, pull the elbows in toward each other and back towards your big toes. Until you can find that little shake and quiver. And then breathe a little deeper. Still being kind and patient with yourself. Even when challenging ourselves. Being nice, knowing that your knees are there. You need them. Breathing a little deeper. And then placing the hips down, place the palms down, elbows right under your shoulders. Pull your elbows back towards your hips, release the core, gaze up. Same deep breaths. Pushing down with the tops of your feet. Keep the chest floating. Start to reach your hands back behind you, interlace the fingers, keep the palms together, shoulders back toward each other. Shoulder blades kissing in, big toes together, lift the heels up. Deep breaths. Lift the wrists up off your sit bones. And breathe. You can inhale in, get everything a little higher. Exhale all the way back to child's pose. Knees nice and wide. Big toes together. Fingertips long. Feeling that relief through the low back after all that nice work. Finding a little extra kindness for yourself, whatever you'd like. Maybe a slight rock from side to side, making little circles on the ground with your forehead. Maybe letting the mouth open and then inhale, coming forward to tabletop. Turn the right toes out like a kickstand. Take the left heel back behind you, placing it down. Inhale the left fingers up. Be sure that that right shoulder is right over the right wrist, and the right hip is right over the right knee. And maybe reaching that left arm up over your ear, maybe floating those left toes. Deep breaths, feeling long from toe to fingertip. Long inhales and long exhales. Really pressing down with that whole right palm, letting that right shoulder come down away from your ear. Same deep breaths. Being kind and patient with yourself. Knowing that those left toes are there if you'd like to keep them down on the earth. And take an inhale in. Exhale, bring the feet back to parallel, but as you bring that left hand down, turn the right fingers in, take the left arm through. Maybe reaching that right arm up and back for the inside of that left thigh. Notice if your hips are collapsing to the right and pull them to the left. Deep breaths. And slowly unwind. Finding that kindness and patience with yourself. Take the left toes out to the left side, right toes back behind you, right heel down, right arm up. Over that ear, maybe lifting those right toes. Same long inhales and long exhales, reaching long through the right side of the body, pressing down with that whole left palm. Be sure the left shoulder is right over the left wrist, left hip, left knee. Finding that 3 or 4 in, 3 or 4 out, reaching a little longer through the toes and fingers. Feeling like this is just one long breath of you spoiling yourself, giving yourself a huge internal, external massage, working out all the kinks and stresses, being so kind to yourself. Take one more inhale in. As you exhale, bring the knees and feet back parallel. Take that right arm all the way through as the left fingers turn in. Maybe that left arm up and back for the inside of that right thigh. Let the hips will come a little farther to the right. Deep breaths. 3 or 4 in, 3 or 4 out. Noticing what's going on in your mind, what's going on with your breath, your body. See if there's space for a little more kindness, a little more patience. And then slowly unwind. Spreading the fingers, pressing down with that whole palm. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Feeling nice and long. Maybe taking an inhale in. Opening the mouth, let it out. And then inhale, rolling forward to plank. Exhale down to chaturanga, shoulders way out over the fingers, elbows in. Inhale through and up, your back bend of choice. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, floating down, elbows in, shoulders out. Pressing down with that whole palm, inhale through and up. Exhale back, tuck the toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana. One more time, inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, floating down. Inhale through and up. And exhale, rolling back, downward facing dog. Inhale that right heel up. Be sure the right hip doesn't stack on top of the left. Sink the heart toward the left toes. Exhale, bring that right foot forward and through. Place it down near the right hand, reaching that left heel back behind you. Be sure the right heel is right under the right knee and lined up with that right hip. Place the left hand down, lined up with those back left toes, and take the right fingers up. Now, for those of you that have been here for a little while, a lot of these poses and maybe even the sequencing might seem familiar. See if you can approach it from that lens of being kind. See if that changes anything that happens in your body, in your breath. See if you can pull a little more back on that right heel to engage underneath the right thigh. Notice if the right knee is falling out to the right side, the left hip is sticking out to the right side. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, place that right head down. Bring your hands to your hips and come up. Putting a little bend in that left knee, tuck the pelvis forward. Reach back with that left heel to straighten that leg. Engage the core, take any arch out of the spine, relax the shoulders. Pulling back on that right heel. See if you can feel that nice opening through the front of that left hip as you pull it a little farther forward. When you feel stable here, reach the fingers up and breathe. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, hands to heart center, left elbow, right thigh. Remember that that left knee is there for you if you need it. Maybe taking the left fingers down, right fingers up, or reaching that right hand behind your back and the left fingers underneath. Deep breaths. Same long inhales and long exhales. Take one more inhale in, open that right shoulder a little more. Exhale, slowly unwind. If it's not already, place that left knee down, untuck the toes. Inhale, shine the heart up. Push down with the top of that left foot. Exhale, rolling back, flex those right toes. Inhale, rolling forward. And exhale, rolling back, crown of the head down. Pull the right hip back. Inhale, rolling forward. And as time as you exhale, bring both hands to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe the right foot out to the edge of your mat. Bring that right heel out in front of the right knee. And then maybe one forearm at a time, make your way down. Maybe letting that right knee fall slightly out to the right side. Deep breaths. Being kind and patient. Slowly coming up to your hands. Tuck the left toes. Bring the right toes back in. Parallel them with the left. Come in between your legs. Nice wide-legged forward fold. Pasarita Padottanasana. If you have a Shirsasana practice and you'd like to come into that, place the crown of the head down, and then slowly make your way up. Otherwise, interlace your hands behind your back, palms together, shoulder blades in toward each other, feeling long through the upper spine. Let your pinkies come down toward the earth. Deep breaths. Releasing the hands down. Walk the feet over to the right toes. If you can, grab the outside of that right ankle with the left hand and take your arm in between the left arm and the right leg and reach for the outside of that left thigh and pull yourself in. And then slowly release, walk all the way out to those left toes. Turn the left toes out. Come up to the ball of the right foot. Placing the hands down. Inhale that left heel all the way up and back. Sinking the heart down toward those right toes. Be sure the left hip doesn't stack on top of the right. Take an inhale in. Exhale, knee to nose. Softly place the left foot down near the left hand. Be sure that the left heel is lined up with that left knee and that left hip. And keeping the right hand down, lined up with those right toes. Take the left fingers up. And breathe. Trying to kiss your belly button in toward that left thigh. Pulling back on that left heel to engage underneath that left leg. Remembering that that right knee is there for you anytime that you need it. Trying to stack the left shoulder on top of the right, but notice if the left knee is falling out to the left side and pull it back in. Notice if the left hip is coming out and pull it back in. Deep breaths. Being kind and patient with yourself. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, place that left hand down. When you feel stable here, bring the hands to your hips and come up. Bringing your hips toward the front of your mat. Tucking the pelvis under, engaging the core. Remembering that that right knee is there anytime that you need it. Deep breaths. Listening to your body, your breath, the greatest teacher you will ever have. Pulling back on that left heel to engage under that left thigh and inhale the fingers up. Finding that one spot in front of you. Deep breaths. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, hands to heart center, right elbow, left thigh. Maybe reaching the right fingertips down, left fingertips up, or those left fingers behind your back, right fingers toward the left. And breathe. Same long inhales and long exhales. And here, noticing if that left hip is sticking out to the side, finding that same alignment, heel, knee, and hip. Deep breaths. Same 3 or 4 in, 3 or 4 out. Especially in this tight, twisted space for your diaphragm. So you can lightly force your breath down into that space. A little more breath control, a little more space for breath. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, stay right where you are. Same deep breaths. On your next exhale, slowly unwind. Placing the hands down, placing that right knee down, hands to the inside of that left foot, heel toe that left foot out. Be sure that the left heel is out in front of the left knee. And then coming down, perhaps, or staying on your hands. Releasing the head, neck, and shoulders. Finding that kindness and patience. Like you're giving yourself some wonderful adjustments and a deep tissue massage. Maybe see what happens if there's a little movement in the hips. A little deeper breath. That kindness. See what happens if you can get that left elbow, left shoulder a little closer to that left leg. See what happens if you parallel your hips a little more toward the front of your mat. Notice if they're collapsing to one side or the other. And slowly coming up to your hands. And that left foot lined up with the left hip. Inhale, shine the heart up. Exhale, rolling back. Flex those left toes, crown of the head down. Inhale, rolling forward. And exhale, rolling back. Inhale, rolling forward. Shoulders back. Exhale, rolling back. Inhale, rolling forward one more time. This time tuck the right toes. Place that right heel down, parallel your feet. Coming back in between your legs, releasing down. Deep breaths. Walk your palms back in between your legs, getting a little longer, transferring the weight a little more toward the balls of your feet. And releasing the hands, start to walk over toward that left ankle if you can. Grab the outside of that left ankle with the right hand. Left arm heading through for that right thigh and pull yourself in. Deep breaths. And then slowly unwind all the way over to those right toes. Turn the right toes out, bend into that knee, send that right foot back to meet the left. Take an inhale in and plank. Exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale through and up, and exhale back. Child's pose or Adho Mukha Svanasana if you'd like. Being kind and patient with yourself. Take a huge inhale in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Open the mouth and let it out. Huge inhale in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Open the mouth and let it out. Being nice, kind with your body. If you're not already there, meet us in Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then inhale that right heel up. Exhale, bring it forward and through. Place it down in between your hands. Place that left heel down. Inhale up, warrior two. Tucking the hips under, engaging the core. Noticing if that right knee is right out over the right toes, but still grounding down through that left pinky toe. Pulling the feet in toward each other, engaging underneath the pelvic floor. Engaging the core, relaxing the shoulders. Chin toward that front middle finger, maybe closing the eyes. Listening to your breath, noticing if maybe you need to bend a little deeper into that front knee, or maybe straighten it a little. Yoga is not about trying hard, but about trying easy. Deep breaths. Right elbow, right thigh, left arm up and over. Maybe those right fingers down, left fingers up. Maybe reaching that left hand behind your back, and the right fingers to the left. Really tucking that right hip underneath you, letting that right knee open. Deep breaths. Opening that left shoulder a little more. Keeping that right knee where it is. On an inhale, head all the way back, peaceful warrior. As much as you bend with the right knee, reach with the right finger. Inhale, straighten that right leg. Exhale, reach with the right fingers. And down, Trikonasana. Finding a little kindness. Perhaps your Trikonasana is a little different than the first day you started yoga. Maybe there's a little more room to tuck that right hip under. Notice if there's a big curve in the spine and maybe come up just a little bit on that right shin. Trying to align every joint in the body. And bring that left hand to your hip. Bend into the right knee, right fingertips out. Gracefully, slowly find your way forward and up. Ardha Chandrasana, stacking that left hip on top of the right. And again, trying to align each and every joint. Maybe reaching those left fingers up, find that one spot down on the earth at which to gaze, maybe floating up off those right fingers. And breathe. Long inhales, long exhale. And slowly let the fingertips come down toward the earth so that you can bring that left hip right next to the right so that the left toes point easily down at the earth. Maybe bringing your hands to heart center. Feeling long through the spine, chest and heel floating, deep breaths. Long inhales, long exhales. Try to not let that left hip stack at all on top of the right, really engaging that right hip flexor. Deep breaths. Take one more inhale in. Exhale, bend into that right leg. Send that left foot back for warrior one, so let toes still be toward the front of the mat. Maybe taking your stance as wide as your mat for stability. Bringing that left hip forward, and then bring the fingers up. Straightening the front leg. leading with the heart, head down towards your toes, long through the spine. Either staying here, keeping those left fingers down, right fingers up. And again, staying here, bending into that right knee. Take the weight forward and up. Reaching that left heel straight back behind you. Stacking the right shoulder on top of the left. Deep breaths. Long inhales and long exhales. That left heel a little higher. One more inhale in. Exhale, release all the way back through your chaturanga. Inhaling through and up. Exhale back, child's pose or Adho Mukha Svanasana. A few deep breaths. Seeing if even through some of these more challenging postures we can find that same sense of kindness, patience, openness, stillness. And notice if you're trying really hard. And ask yourself, why am I trying so hard? This is yoga. The only reason we even do the moving asana is so that we can sit for longer and longer periods of time in stillness. So do I really need to be killing myself? Or am I already at a wonderful place? Each of these poses end in the word asana, which means to sit in stillness. So if you're not finding stillness in your breath, and stillness in your mind, but you're pushing yourself really hard, what is it that you are trying to accomplish? As you're ready, inhale coming forward through tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale that left heel up. Exhale, bring it forward and through. Place it down in between the hands. Place the right heel down and come up, warrior two. Left knee right out over those left toes, tucking the pelvis underneath you, grounding down through that back. Little pinky toe, engaging the core, pulling the feet in toward each other, engaging underneath the pelvic floor. Relax the shoulders. Breathe the fingertips out and away, chin toward that front middle finger. Try and open that right hip a little more back behind you, really paralleling your pelvis toward the long side of your mat. Notice if that left knee starts to collapse in, maybe bending a little deeper, maybe closing the eyes and then forgetting everything I just said and breathe. 3 or 4 in, 3 or 4 out. Noticing if you need to straighten that front leg a little, or maybe bend a little deeper. Left elbow, left thigh, right arm at your hip or up and over your ear. Maybe those left fingers down as that left knee opens a little more and the left hip tucks under a little more. Maybe the right hand behind the back and the left to reach it. If you're reaching for the bind, open that right shoulder a little more. Notice if as you reach, your chest starts to turn down toward the earth, and if so, back off a little to open that right shoulder a little more. Deep breaths wherever you are, tucking that left hip a little more, Opening that right shoulder a little more. And then gracefully on and inhale all the way back, peaceful warrior. As much as you reach with those left fingers, bend with that left knee. Notice if you're still tucking your hips under. Notice if you're feeling long through that left side. Even here, trying to start to align all the joints. And then straightening that front leg. Reach, tuck that left hip, reach the right hip back, and down to your Trikonasana. Deep breaths. See if you can pull the right ribs in just a little more. Reach that right hip back a little more. Tuck that left hip a little more. Trying to align each and every joint. Being kind and patient with yourself. Maybe coming up just a little bit on that left shin so you can really find that alignment of that left hip tucking underneath you, pushing down with that left big toe, taking any curve out of the spine. And bringing that right hand to your hip. Bend into the left knee, maybe bringing those left toes in a few inches so you can gracefully find that one spot in front of you, take the weight forward and up. Stacking that right hip on top of the left, flexing the right toes, maybe reaching those right fingers up, maybe floating up off those left fingers. Deep breaths. Finding that one spot in front of you. Deep, long inhales. Long exhales. If you find your breath, you will find your balance. Slowly bringing both fingertips down to the earth. Bring that right hip right next to the left so that the toes are easily pointing down to the earth. Staying here, maybe bringing your hands to heart center, floating the chest and heel. Finding that one spot at which to gaze, your drishti, breathing into it. Then long from that heel through the crown of your head. Same deep breaths. Bending into that supporting leg, place the hands down, send that right foot all the way back for warrior one. Toes coming toward the front of the mat, but grounding down through that right heel and find your way up. Trying to get that right hip just as far forward as it was in crescent pose. And then straightening that front leg. Leading with the heart, down to pyramid, hands on the shin, just not the knee, maybe down toward the earth. Pulling that left hip back so the right hip can come forward. Keeping the right fingertips down or staying right where you are. Maybe lifting those left fingers up. And again, staying here or bending into that left knee, taking the weight forward and up. Trying to stack that left shoulder on top of the right. Deep breaths. And then slowly bending into that left knee, sending that right foot all the way back. Send the left foot back to meet the right. Take a huge inhale in and plank. Exhale down to chaturanga. Inhale through and up. And exhale back. Child's pose. Take a huge inhale in through the nose. Hold the breath at the top. Open the mouth and let it out. One more time. Huge inhale in. Hold the breath. Open the mouth. Let it out. You have made it. Having a little gratitude for yourself in all of your work, and that you have the time and space to be so kind to yourself. Inhale, coming forward to tabletop. Exhale, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale that right heel up. Exhale, bring it forward and through. Place it down. Walk the right toes over to the left side of your mat. Right knee down. Really flexing those toes. If the outside of that right leg is not completely down on the earth, bring the left knee up into the sole of that right foot. And bring your belly button right down towards your shin so that you're not out over the knee. Maybe just coming down to your hands. Maybe the forearms. And then releasing the head, neck, and shoulders. And breathe. If there's any pinching in that right knee, really flex the foot and push down with that right pinky toe. And then just begin to notice what thoughts, emotions, ideas come up. Notice if that right hip is really talking with you. Maybe it has a lot to say. Give it your attention. Breathe a little deeper. Finding a little more kindness, gratitude, appreciation, patience, honesty, trust, self-confidence, exploration. We sometimes tend to spend time with our goals and not giving ourselves that appreciation and kindness and recognizing all that we've done, not necessarily what we've done in our past and living in our past, but just the work that we've done to be able to be right where we are. Acknowledging what we've been through and taking the time to just be kind, grateful. Showing our gratitude to ourselves. With kindness and patience, slowly coming up to your hands. Slowly, gently tucking those left toes. Carefully sending that right foot back, maybe up to release that hip. Placing that foot down next to the left. Inhaling that left heel up. Exhale, bring it forward and through. Placing that right knee down, heel toe that left foot over to the right side of your mat, paralleling your shin to the front of your mat, placing that whole leg down. If that whole leg is not down, bringing that right foot up to the sole of the left. I am much more interested in your belly button coming down towards your shin than how deeply and close you can get down to the earth. These are two very different stretches, from reaching out over that left knee and even trying to get your chest a little closer to your toes. Really flexing those left toes. Pressing down with that left pinky toe. And breathe. Letting the head, neck, and shoulders be heavy. Allowing yourself the time to breathe into that hip. And being kind and patient, finding that gratitude, and maybe just asking your hip to release just a little more on each exhale. Notice where your thoughts are, where your breath is. And slowly come up to your hands, tucking those right toes. Send that left foot back, maybe up to release that hip gently. Coming into our last downward facing dog. Notice if your downward dog feels a little different. And then inhale, rolling forward to plank. Exhale down to the earth, rolling onto your back. Bring your knees up into your chest and rock from side to side. And if you just can't get enough of inversions, then maybe send your feet up over your head. Bring your hands high up on your back and find your way up to shoulder stand. Otherwise, let your feet come down to the earth, the width of your mat. Let your knees fall in toward each other. And then let both your knees fall to the left side, crossing that left ankle on top of the right knee. Those of you in shoulder stand, be sure all of your weight in your elbows and shoulders, not in your neck. Those of you in the nice twist, bring the feet back, width of your mat. Let both your knees fall to the right side. Right knee on top of the left, right ankle on top of the left knee. For those of you in shoulder stand, if you'd like to slowly make your way back through plow. Deaf man's pose, knees by your ears, balancing your knees on your forehead, rolling down, hugging your knees in. Those of you in the nice simple twist, slowly pull your knees up into your chest. And then everyone place the heels down, hip distance apart, close into your sit bones, pushing up for bridge, or hands under your shoulders, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Our last back bend. And slowly making your way down, coming up to the balls of your feet, one vertebra at a time, down to your mat. Pull your knees up into your chest. Allowing the left leg to straighten out, hold on to that right knee. Let the right arm fall out to the side. Pull that right knee over the body with the left hand. If you'd like, you can also bend that left knee, reaching for the top of the left foot with the right hand. Deep breaths. Letting go of any last remnants of worries, resistance, thoughts. As we're cooling down, finding more and more ways to be kind to yourself, patient, understanding, appreciation, gratitude, honesty, trust, patience. Slowly coming back through center, extending the right leg out. Hold on to the left leg with the right hand, pulling it over the body. Bending that right knee if you'd like, reaching for the foot with the left hand. Allowing yourself this time away, this rest, this vacation, respite from your habitual life. Allowing yourself this time of healing, integration. Allowing all of the work that you've done of being kind to yourself to seep into every one of your cells. Nothing to do, nothing to think, nothing to be. Ever so slowly, perhaps the slowest movement you've made thus far. Bringing your knees back through center. Maybe giving yourself a nice little hug. And then extending out into our final Shavasana. Letting your toes fall away from each other. Tucking one shoulder blade and then the other. If your tongue is connected to the roof of your mouth, release it to feel that clear passage of air in and out of your nose. I like to do little physical adjustments in Shavasana. So if you're open to receiving, let your palms be up. If you'd rather conserve, let your palms be down. Feel the weight of your bones, muscles and organs, every cell and molecule in your body. This physical self for which you are responsible to carry around all the time. Release that responsibility. Down into the earth, let yourself melt. Feel yourself supported. For these next few moments, you have no responsibilities. You have nothing you need to do. Just being kind to yourself. Allowing yourself just to breathe. Allowing yourself just to be. Wherever you are, see if you can leave a little tether, maybe leaving a foot to keep this space as part of you. And then stepping that other foot back into your body. Noticing your breath, feeling your physical self once again. Maybe running your thumbs over your fingertips, maybe flexing and pointing the toes. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. Perhaps stretching your arms up above you, feeling long. Or just staying right where you are. If you'd like, you can find your way onto one side or the other and back to that same comfortable seated position in which we started our journey. Or just allow your spine to be long down on the earth. Wherever you find yourself, notice if your breath is coming a little calmer. Notice if your thoughts are a little bit further apart. And notice if there's a little bit more warmth of kindness through your body.